Lake County. This is KPFZ 88.1 FM Community Radio. We are broadcasting live here from Lakeport. We are heard in Lakeport, Clear Lake, and all around the lake, and we also stream live. To catch us on the internet, go to www.kpfz.org and follow the prompts to Live 365, and you can catch us on the internet. This is Voices of Lake County, 2-hour show. I'm your host, Olga Martin Steele. The first hour of the show is the Veterans Hour. Before I get started, and with that show, I'll introduce my guests in a minute. I'm going to do a couple of public service announcements, and then we will get right into our show, the Veterans Hour. First announcement I want to make is an announcement to ask you to attend the town rally at Harbor Park on June 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. To hear from our elected officials and others about the issue that is really plaguing the community of Lucerne, and that is the very, very high cost of water that is charged by the California Water Services Company. So show up, show your support, June 22nd, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. For a town rally at Harbor Park in Lucerne. Hope to see you there. Second announcement I want to make is for the Time Bank of Thrive Lake County. Time Bank is having a meetup brunch Saturday, June 22nd from 10 a.m. to noon. Now that's over at Middletown. It's going to be held at the Community United Methodist Church, which is on 15833 Armstrong Street. It begins at 10 and concludes at 12:30. There's an orientation, kind of an introduction to the concept of time banking. There'll be some interactive activities, and if you want to stay after and learn a little bit more about the time bank, maybe the time bank software, from noon to 12:30, someone will be there to help you with that. All ages are welcome, and admission is free. So next Saturday, June 22nd, 10 to noon, at the Middletown Community United Methodist Church. And then the last public service announcement I'm going to make for this morning is an announcement for a Veterans Art Show, which is from July 5 through July 31 at the Ukiah Art Center. So this is a call out for artists, photographers, craftsmen who are veterans to show your art. And to enter I'm guessing it's a contest, doesn't really say that, but it says to enter, contact the Art Center of Ukiah, and the number is 707-462-1400. If you're interested in the Veterans Art Show in Ukiah from July 5 through July 31, contact them at 462-1400. Okay. So I'm your host, Olga Martin Steele, and this is the first hour of Voices of Lake County, the Veterans Hour. And with me in the studio this morning are, happy to have you back, gentlemen, by the way. We missed you a couple weeks ago, but I'm glad you're back. Okay.
Yeah, life happens.
So Bob Penny with the local Veterans Administration. And good morning, Bob.
Good morning, good morning.
And Dean Gotham with the Vietnam Veterans Association. Good morning, Dean. And Chris Taliaferro with our local state EDD office. Good morning, Chris. And backing us up at the controls is Ann Newport, our board person extraordinaire. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for being here.
Certainly. Glad to be here.
All right, you must have all kinds of things to report out on.
One of the interesting things this morning is I drove into Lakeport. I saw all the flags.
Yes.
Down the street, and I just happened to ask Bob. I'm like, Bob, what is that for? Because I really didn't have a clue. I thought it was for the Army's birthday today, but Bob gave me something different. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with that.
Flag Day. Come on.
Today is Flag Day.
Army Day. Huh? Okay.
Army's birthday.
All right. So I take it we're not all from the Army in this room.
No.
None of us are.
Sorry, Army.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm going to represent then the Army because my dad was in World War II in the Army. So there you go.
Well, okay.
June 14th, 1775 is when the Army officially became adopted.
Oh, good. All right. That's a good factoid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
very interesting. In Marine boot camp, they beat you up over the fact that the Marines were first. Well, obviously, that's not true.
Well, we were at the. It's interesting. I think that this is friendly rivalry, right? We were.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
We were at the Upper Lake Wild West days not too long ago, a few weeks ago, my husband and I, and we ran into Mr. Parker. So we talked a little bit. He's been on the show before, and so he and my husband were talking, because the first thing he asked my husband is, well, are you a vet? And he said, well, yeah, I'm a vet. And what branch, So, okay, he's Air Force. And so the next thing you know, the guys that are sitting at the booth are making fun of the Army, and so we got to go over and talk to the Air Force guys, but it was really very friendly banter and just a lot of fun. And yeah, it was nice to see that they had a booth there at Wild West Days. So,
Yeah, we all give each other a bad time, no matter what surface we're in.
yeah. Okay. So who wants to get
It's
started?
not entirely true. I'm very grateful to the Navy and the Air Force for the support we got.
There you go.
5-inch guns came in handy more than once. And, God love B-52s.
All right. See, there's just all kinds of perspectives on this, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Most-
But to all of you, can't be said enough. Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Petty, do you want to get the ball rolling this morning?
All right, I will start. Well, I spent all last week training with the VA
Oh, okay.
in downtown Reno.
Really? Well, tell us about that.
Yes, well, I'll tell you, with all of everything that's going on, all the congressional inquiries to the VA's backlogged claims and all of that, it's very obvious when they came and gave presentations to us, they're going at a fast and furious pace to change things. And one of the biggest things that they're doing, in fact, we had one of the big wigs from the VA, the Undersecretary, General Allison Hickey, came and gave about a 2-hour speech as far as the changes that are being made. They're completely changing their computer systems to try and do paperless claims.
Oh, wow.
This is definitely on track, and it's going to be on track. In fact, it already started earlier this year. And this is their solution to save time on claims for the personnel in the VA that are working on these claims. And they're saying that hours and hours are going to be spent per person, are saved per person by going paperless, plus less chance of losing files. When files are sent from one end of the country to the other, when they outsource the file folders. Like they're doing right now in trying to catch up. Folders are being sent to Muskogee, Oklahoma, or Lincoln, Nebraska, even on the East Coast.
So I'm imagining a computer database of everyone who's been in one branch of the service or another that now you can easily populate data, whatever data is there that's relevant, onto an application. Is that
correct?
Where they're headed?
That's exactly where they're headed. Exactly where they're headed. It's supposed to make things a lot easier using the new technology. They have some of the top people in their fields developing these computer programs to help the VA accomplish this. They have one program that we have access to, that we're going to have access to. We don't yet, but it'll be there shortly, and it's to be used for us to assist a veteran. And they're really pushing for veterans to get enrolled in what's called e-benefits. That's the big thing right now, and for the program that is for us that are assisting veterans for filing claims, the veteran has to be enrolled in this e-benefits for us to help them. And then once they're enrolled in e-benefits, they can track their own claims once they're in this e-benefits program.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
And so this is really important, and this is something that I'm encouraging every veteran to take part in, not only for benefits, but they can take part in seeing when their checks were sent out, if they're in receipt of disability payments. They can see when the checks were sent out, or if a check wasn't sent. You can't imagine at the first of every month how many phone calls I get on the first. Oh, I haven't got my check yet. But what a lot of people don't consider is that when a check, of course, all checks are going direct deposit now.
Now, right.
And the banks, different banks post them at different times. So if you check in the morning on the 1st, a lot of times the bank won't have it posted yet in the system. So anyway, so all of this together is going to just make a better access for all veterans to the veteran system.
Question. Did I understand correctly that for new enrollees, they must enroll in e-benefits?
Yes,
okay.
for us to help them.
Okay.
Yes. I'm encouraging every single veteran to get enrolled in e-benefits, not only while they have claims, but even afterwards, to keep track of their disability payments and all of that, too.
That allows them then to enter the system, create a personal password, and then get access to certain information about their benefits.
That's correct,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's also a thing called Health e-Vet. When they're enrolled in the VA medical system, they can reorder renewal prescriptions, renew the prescriptions, refills, right online, real quick. It takes about 10 minutes at the most. It takes me longer just to get on the site than it does to order the prescription. So,
wow, that's a great. Yeah, that's a great benefit.
There's also secure messaging, which is kind of an important component.
Right. Yeah, part of that Healthy Vet is messaging directly to your doctor. It sends in a secure email directly to the veteran's doctor.
Wow, that sounds really, really good. Now, I presume they're going to go online incrementally, or you said in some cases they're already using it.
E-benefits is in use right now. Okay, I have a lot of veterans that are using that to track their claims, and if they don't get the answers they want in that, they call me to look it up on the screens.
What about the paperless applications?
It's like I say, they have started it early this year, I think it was, and part of the program is running, and part of it is still being put together. Okay. Because
so part of it's in development.
It is part of the. We had the program developers there explaining what they were doing, and they were asking for our input as to how best to put things together, or how things should work together.
Oh, good.
So that's great.
They've got input from first-hand users. Now, I always worry about the people that don't have computers or don't readily have access to computers. They don't get left in the cold on this, right?
They can always come to the EDD office or Workforce Lake to help out with those applications.
Good.
Yeah, and there's computers at the local libraries too.
I know.
They can set up get set up with those accounts at the local library computers.
And their smartphones.
Right. Well, yeah. I think, in this day and age, most of us know someone, if we don't have a computer, know someone that's got one. And I know I have people that have computers, but they're not really very adept at using them, so I end up helping them. So hopefully there's people out there that are there to kind of help those that don't have computers, or if they have them, don't, are just getting up to speed with them. It's a big shift to start using computers if you have never used a computer. I have some friends that are trying to get there. We do have our first caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and first personally, I don't know anything about computers. I don't have a computer, and it sounds like for me to be tracking my claims or whatever, I'm going to have to go out and spend a couple of $1,000 to get a computer, plus be trained on how to use it.
Okay. Well, you don't have to, and that's why my office is there to assist you.
Okay, so you do offer assistance if somebody's ignorant of computers and stuff?
Yes, most definitely. You're always welcome, please.
And Chris Taliaferro, who's with a local state EDD office, also provides assistance here out of Lakeport, right, Chris?
And Clear Lake. I do Lakeport and Clear Lake, both sides of the lake. Clear Lake on Tuesdays.
Want to tell them your address?
Yes. So in Lakeport, it's 55 First Street here in Lakeport. And in Clear Lake, it's actually at the VA clinic.
Okay, I know where that is, right next to Enterprise Auto or something up that way.
Don't you do free computer
next to the hotel?
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
And we also have programs through our partners, our WIA Workforce Lake, that have free computer classes. So, I mean, you're more than welcome to come in and
I got to tell you,
learn the basics of them.
Maybe I took a computer class twice and I didn't get anything out of it. In fact, they threw me out of the second one for being too frustrated. But anyway, okay. But it's nice to know that you help out down there.
That's what we're there for.
Okay, well, you guys have a good day.
Well, thank you for the call.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
So, folks, if you'd like to call in, the number to call is 263-3435, 263-3435. Be free to call in and ask any of the gentlemen here in the room, all very knowledgeable, any questions you might have, or to join in on their conversation. We welcome that. So
For sure.
Yeah, I always. I know that I just know an awful lot of people who are phobic about computers, and even though they understand the benefit and want to go in that direction, it's a huge leap for some people. So we don't want to leave anybody behind.
I resisted it for a long time.
Yeah. My mother says no, they have germs and viruses, so she does not want them in her house.
That's good.
Especially those handheld devices.
But that's why people, who really, I know Chris in his office and his staff, and in my office, in the veterans office, we encourage veterans, no matter what their computer savvy, please come in, ask for help. We're there to help you. Okay?
Good. Mm-hmm. Good, yeah, I know. Good. Okay, so carry on. We interrupted your flow.
No, that's okay. It's okay. But the VA is completely restructuring and retraining their staffs right now. They're doing what they call cross-functional training to have teams. So a veteran's claim will no longer be handled by a single person, go from person to person to person. It will now be handled by teams, and these teams will handle the claim from the beginning to the end. That will...
What a great idea.
Oh, gee. That's way past due.
Yeah, we're past the days when an assembly line for these types of situations worked very well. There's probably an awful lot of information that somebody needs to know each step along the way. It's
the last 2 years, they were saying last year, and they're well on their way this year, of handling from beginning to end over 1 million claims per year.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Does that give you a little bit of an idea?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a biggie. And they're, with when everything gets working together, that should increase their capacity by leaps and bounds.
Good. Good. That's good news.
It's good news. They have, when a claim goes into any VA office, depending on what type of claim it is. If it's a non-rating claim, a non-rating claim is possibly something to add a dependent, a spouse or children. Mm-hmm. Okay, those are things that can be done very quickly. Which have not. Up till now, I mean, it's been like a year to add on a dependent. And that's created some additional problems because of that. So they've got that. They've got the next one is what they call the express lane for any fully developed claim, now when I say fully developed claim, that means when we send a claim in, and we've always tried to do this, it's not always completely possible, but if we have a claim that we've got everything together, we send it in, it has only one or two issues, those claims, what they're trying to get down to is that a claim will be done in 125 days. Okay, and sometimes even quicker.
Yeah.
Depending on the severity of the conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone with Parkinson's sometimes can take longer. It's a much more complicated issue than just a yes or no. Does he have it? So they have the next thing they have is the core lane. That's fully developed claims that have 3 or more issues.
The core lane?
Core lane, Core. Okay. Now those are a little more complicated as far as numbers of issues, that type of thing. And then they have the next one's called special operations. These are the very difficult claims. The military sexual trauma claims, PTSD claims, probably Parkinson's claims, that type, some of the real difficult disabilities that have many, many secondary conditions.
Okay.
And then they go to the appeals and notice of disagreement lane.
So it seems like they put in a lot of thought into organizing these claims.
It's like I say, it's way
So
past
that,
due.
if you have a very complex claim and somebody else has a more simple claim, the simple claim isn't sitting behind the more complex claim waiting.
Exactly.
When it
This
could
started
be
out
processed.
with actually started out with 3 lanes, and now they're up to 5.
Yes. Which it's needed. It really is. Like you say, you don't want to mix up the 1 or 2 issue claims with the ones that are several issues. Like I say, the less issued one can be decided a lot quicker because of that. And sometimes I've had ones decided within 3 months.
And I would wager the core lanes, the special operations, and the notice of appeals requires greater knowledge and depth.
Yes. Plus the additional training they're giving the personnel too, where one person isn't trained in just one job.
Right.
They're trained in several.
Let me ask you a question, Bob. When somebody comes to you and they have a claim, are you able to sort of do a preliminary assessment of the claim and give them some idea how long it might take to process it? And if so, now versus this new system, do you look forward to a much faster processing?
Yes, we are looking forward with these new changes. Things will start happening faster. They'll be decided a lot quicker now with all the changes they're making. And I'm seeing the results. I'm going through all my awards right now, and I have stacks of awards where this time last year, or my last reporting period, I had maybe a quarter of because the claims were still pending. I wasn't getting the awards because they were still being worked on.
Yeah, still on
Right
hold.
now, I have stacks of awards that I'm working on.
Well, that's a good sign. We do have a caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to ask you a question first. Is Andy in the studio today or not?
Who, Andy?
Yes.
Yeah, he's working today.
Okay, good.
He'll be here probably till around 11:30.
Okay, so he's there now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can call him at 263-3640.
Yeah, okay. I want. Good morning, Dean and Bob, and happy Father's Day to both. I don't know if Dean's a father or not, but happy Father's Day to Bob.
Not that he knows of.
It wasn't for any lack of effort.
And we have Chris Taliaferro in the studio also. I don't know if he's a father.
Oh, happy Father's
but he
Day
is
to
a
all the
father.
fathers out there in the world, Lake County and all the world. Anyway, I'm not a daddy, but I feel like I'm the father of this earth, and I'm not happy with the way the earth's being treated. But anyway, happy Flag Day to everybody out there.
All right.
It is Flag Day, and
Thanks, Steve.
Dean mentioned that, and yeah, we do need to honor our flag. That's what we stand for. So
Here.
yeah. So anyway, it's a good thing you guys are there. And I see a new computer in the VA there. They haven't got it hooked up yet. yet. I guess a new thing for checking in on their health system. It's in a lobby there, but they haven't got it hooked up yet. It's in the VA now. They haven't got it actually hooked up yet. And
Are you talking about the clinic there?
Yeah, in clinic. It's got a new computer inside there, but it's in there next to the phone, but they haven't got it hooked up yet. It's a brand new computer. So for logging into your health care system there at the clinic. So
so the veterans can hook into their Healthy Vet?
Right there in the office, right there where the phone is. You'll be able to sit down and hook and plug in and use the computer right there. It's there already, but it just has to be hooked up and I guess wired up and whatnot, programmed or whatnot.
Great.
But it's there already, but it's got to be programmed, I guess. And
well, thanks, Steve.
That's a cool idea. I had heard about that.
Yeah, just it's something new. Well, I think Dean, you didn't see it. You were too busy when you were in there for the meeting. It was sitting there, but you didn't even see it sitting there.
No, I didn't.
You were.
So that's for veterans to use when they come into the clinic.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, for checking in and for checking in their health records or whatnot, and they can access their stuff that way if they want, and get DD-214s off that and too. You can order DD-214s off that and whatnot. I think is what I read on the flyer on it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So it's got the ability to get in the system and get whatever records you want and check your records out and whatever and get your health records or whatever you want to do. Apparently, it's got the ability to show your records and whatnot. Apparently.
Good. Well, thank you for that update.
Thanks, Steve.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll let you guys carry on the show. I'm going to call Andy up because I want to order a couple of
CDs.
Shows. CDs.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call, as always.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you got all kinds of notes from that training session. I'm anxious to hear this.
Yeah,
I'm waiting to hear one
with
thing in
bated
particular,
breath. Yeah.
actually.
Oh, let me do a quick station ID.
Okay.
We're already halfway into the show. This is KPFZ 88.1 FM, community radio, broadcasting live from Lakeport, heard in Lakeport, Clear Lake, and all around the lake. You are listening to Voices of Lake County First Hour, the Veterans Hour. I'm your host, Olga Martin Steele. In the studio with me is Bob Penny, Dean Gotham, and Chris Taliaferro. So welcome back to the show. If you'd like to call in, the number is 263-3435. And back to you, Bob Penny, and your conference training.
Okay. One of the things that I'm excited that's changing is what's called the means test. If anyone that's in the VA medical system, if you have disability ratings less than 50%, you have to do a means test once a year. And this has been a real problem locally because the people in the VA medical system that handle this paperwork have not been putting them in either getting the veteran enrolled in the VA system, or they have not been processing the means test, and then low-income veterans end up getting charged for medications and services. And
So if they're not tested and basically recertified or whatever the term is,
exactly,
then they're going to be charged for their own.
That's automatically. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're changing. They're actually doing away with the means test now. They will be checking on each veteran. They will be checking with the IRS and the Treasury on their income and assets. So the veteran will no longer have to report all of that every year.
Oh, good.
So that's going to save a lot of headaches, especially for these low-income veterans. That
Well, this is when you get the sense of the value of this data being available. What a tremendous improvement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely.
Good.
Yes.
Because the means test is income-based, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And like I say, the ones that take the brunt of that problem with the lack of personnel putting in the paperwork is that if this information doesn't get reported in a timely manner,
sure,
then they just automatically start charging co-pays to these veterans, and I've had that complaint for several years now, and I've had to spend a lot of extra time once they start getting charged, and they take it out of their.
Do they automatically take it out of their pay?
Automatically
wow.
take it out of their Social Security or whatever payments they may be getting.
Even if it's not their fault.
Even if it's not their fault.
Processed.
Then I have to go through a prolonged thing to ask for a waiver of the debt and blah, blah, blah.
Wow. Yeah.
And it just makes more work for everyone, when that goes through like that.
Well, good. That's good news.
So that's excellent news.
Yeah.
So let me see. We one of the sponsors of this this training was Humana. And they were putting out the information that they are expanding their program. They have been taking over. What is it? There are roughly 825 local VA clinics across the country. Approximately 200 of those are run privately. And what the VA does, it contracts with local doctors, that type of thing. Well, this Humana Corporation is taking over some of those contract units and running the clinics for the VA, and I think they're planning to. I think they said they've got about 15% of that 200 right now. But in support of that, they are trying to hire more veterans to work for them in their main company as well as in the clinics. And they have a website, which I will give. It's www.jobs.net/jobs/Humana-veterans.
Okay, you're going to have to repeat that. I couldn't even write it fast enough. So
www.jobs.net/jobs/Humana-veterans.
Okay.
And they are hiring veterans and veteran spouses.
Oh, wow.
They have a priority for veterans and their spouses.
That's also a big initiative within the VA now, is to hire veterans.
Good.
And Humana is also starting some programs for post 9/11 veterans. They have like what they call a boot camp. If a veteran wants to start their own business, they have this boot camp. And this is for the post 9/11 veterans that have disabilities. That's their priority. It's to help them start their own businesses, and they sponsor their this boot camp to help them get on their feet. And so they could probably go to the Humana website and find out more about that too.
Yeah, I was thinking that was a very, very long website. That gets you right to, I presume it gets you right to their, probably the recruiting information.
Correct.
But if you Google Humana, I'm sure you can find them that way as well.
And I know a lot of people have heard about the contaminated drinking water at Camp Lejeune, the Marine base in North Carolina. And the VA is starting to go through those cases and the disabilities that are caused by the contamination, which the majority of disabilities from that contamination are different types of cancers, lymphomas, melanomas, that type of thing. And so if anybody has been exposed to that, please come into the Veterans Office. Let us help you get a claim started. Because they're saying the contamination not only is affecting the veteran, but their generations, future generations too. It's affecting the children with disabilities.
Wow.
heritable damage.
Yeah, they're not providing, the VA's not providing any service connection or financial assistance to family members, but they are offering medical treatment for family members that have the disabilities attributable to this water
The families
contamination.
of veterans.
Yes. Because a lot of times, the veterans and their families live on the bases, that type of thing.
But they do provide treatment.
Yes, they do.
That's something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a terrible situation. So, good.
Okay. VA home loans. Now, this is something that really isn't talked a lot, but VA does, if veterans are living on tribal lands, the VA does provide VA home loans for those veterans living on tribal lands. That's kind of a different situation because if they default on the loan, of course, the government can't take back a home on tribal lands. Right. So there are some additional qualifications.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever talked about these types of specific types of loans.
No. Like I say, this is something we don't deal with a whole lot, but I wanted to make sure and put the information out there that it was available, and there are some additional qualifications, that type of thing, for someone to get into those type of loans, but they are available.
That's good.
Okay.
Good information.
Yeah. And as you can see, we covered a wide range of topics.
How long were you there?
All week.
All week, okay.
All week, yes. From 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock at night.
All right.
And then we talk shop afterwards.
Do you want to take a little break and let's see what Chris might have to announce, and then we'll come back to you? Is that okay? Because I think, Chris, do you have some announcements today?
Well, sure.
All right.
Sure.
One of the first things I want to bring up is about CalVet and the Vet Fund. They're going to host a Women's Veterans Leadership Conference that's going to be down in San Diego. And there is a website you can go. I would, love to find, a female veteran that we could nominate from Lake County that could represent us. There's a lot of female veterans in this community that are doing wonderful things. And so if you're interested in that, if you go to calvet.ca.gov, you can find the information about the Women's Conference. And that's going to be in September 25th through 27th in San Diego. But there's deadlines. The opening is May 21st till July 19th to register for someone for that.
Well, let me ask you a question, not to put you on the spot, but just for the sake of clarity. Are you suggesting that the California EDD might be able to financially sponsor someone to represent Lake County?
Well, it's not a financial burden. What it is you submit a package about a veteran, and they go through all the packages, and then if they qualify, they'll bring them down to San Diego and they represent the female veterans.
Oh, will they fly them there?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay, that's what I meant by support.
Right.
Yeah, someone may be willing to go, but it's an airline ticket, it's hotel stay, it's whatever
No, absolutely, and it's all about the different services and different things that are out there for female veterans and getting the recognition out there. I also wanted to talk about, there are the stand-down stuff starting to come out, about all the flyers and stuff for stand-downs. I got one just the day before yesterday about Placer County, in September. So just start looking out again, and for those of you guys that don't know what a stand-down is, I mean, it's like one-stop shopping, basically. Any kind of services you need are there. I know for veterans that have the legal issues, we have a judge that comes and they go to Dixon. Dixon is the one that we use for veterans, and we actually have a bus that goes down to Dixon, and we have a lot of stuff lined up for that. So just know that those are going to be coming up in August, September, October. So those are going to be coming up really soon.
So you'll be announcing specifics as they come.
Absolutely, but just know that those are coming up and those are out there. One of the things that's recently come up from EDD on my side as well is one of the local businesses here in the county has agreed that any veteran that's looking for work and they come into our either Workforce Lake or come and see me at EDD, and for instance they need a haircut because they're looking to get jobs, they're going to do haircuts for veterans for free. And
nice.
so you just need to come into the office for us and let us know that you're looking for work, and we can get you like a voucher. And again, it's one of the local businesses that are trying to show their support for veterans. So
What a
Cool.
what a great idea. Now, Chris, this is probably a good time for you to give your phone number.
okay, yes, my phone number is 262-3111. Again, that's 262-3111, and I'm located on 55 First Street here in Lakeport. On Tuesdays, I actually work at the VA clinic as well, there in Clear Lake. So try to service veterans on both sides of the lake. So I did talk about last time we came on here as well, the quarterly vet fair we're going to start doing.
Right.
And I don't have the exact date yet, but it's going to be towards the end of July. And we have 4 employers that have agreed to come right now. So we're just setting up the specifics of that. But these employers are going to be open to jobs up to only for veterans. So veterans can come in and we're, like I said, we're going to do this on a quarterly basis.
Cool.
And these are employers that actually have jobs available.
Absolutely, it's not just passing out information, and they're more of the Calpine, the higher end jobs as well, and not just every job is a job, but we want to have career jobs.
Sure,
and so
right.
we're looking at the veterans that have come into the offices, what have they been looking for, and so trying to capture the most dynamics for all the veterans that come in through the door.
Good news.
So, continuing on, our EDD office and Workforce Lake offer a variety of different classes that are free of charge. And that includes from doing a resume, doing cover letters, doing interview tips, mock interviews, creating an online resume, career exploration, how to search for the jobs online, how to find them. So again, all these classes are free of charge. So if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, just come to 55 First Street in Lakeport, EDD or Workforce Lake, and we'd be more than happy to get you enrolled and get you started on that. Another thing that just happened recently was there's been quite a few veterans that have come into my office that one of them had surgery on his foot, and the VA gave him one of the walkers with the wheels on it with the handles and brakes, and they paid for it, and he's done with it now, and he's like, what do I do with this stuff? So going on to what Vet Connect, and every second Wednesday of the month is in Clear Lake, and the third Wednesday of the month is here in Lakeport. Mm-hmm. But a lot of that kind of stuff we give back out to veterans. So this veteran said, what do I do with this? He brought in, it's brand new, and so we're gonna Vet Connect, what they do is they capture that stuff and give it back to other veterans that are in need.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Resurface. So veterans, if you guys are wanting to help out other veterans or needing to do that kind of stuff, just contact Bob Penny, Dean, myself, Frank Parker, and we can help get that stuff out to the veterans.
Good.
For sure.
Okay, Dean, you got anything on?
Well, I've been kind of waiting to see what Bob had up his sleeve here with his 1 week.
Well, we can go right back to Bob.
But there is one topic
Okay.
I want to make sure we talk about, and I wanted to see if it's on your agenda, and that's the Affordable Care Act and how it affects veterans.
It was not on our agenda last week.
Well, it will be now. The Affordable Care Act is it's federal law, and it takes effect. The enrollment period begins in October. There are currently 11 to 13 health plan companies that are signed up for the state of California, and the Veterans Health Administration is not one of them. And it's important for veterans to understand that the Veterans Health Administration satisfies all the criteria for the Affordable Care Act. And this is critical that the VA get informed and get them put on that list so that veterans don't mistakenly think they need to get private health care, when in point of fact, the VA healthcare system covers it.
Good.
This is very important.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of information coming out. I think it will be very confusing, so that's a good point. And we do have a caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, I want to address an issue with the VA. Out in front of the VA is a crosswalk in Deansbury, wherever, and I see Olympic there, and Olympic, the city's painting stripes on their crosswalks on Olympic Drive right now. I don't know why the city can't go in and paint the stripes on that crosswalk in front of the VA clinic there, because it's a dangerous crosswalk there, but they're doing it on Olympic there where the police station is on their street, but they're not even bothering with this with Lakeport where it's up there by in front of the clinic there. So I know that needs to be addressed with the city, because it's not being done over there, and that's like crosswalk. You can't even see it no more, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're painting them other ones over there right now with big yellow stripes. You know, that's what they should do. Is the one over there by the clinic.
Maybe it might be on the work list. If it isn't, we should get it on it.
Yeah, if it's not on the list, we need to check with Public Works.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, maybe that misinformation about the travel pay there in San Francisco, you might want to announce that, Dean, the cutoff point on that was misinformation that was given out to the veterans about no travel pay. That it was, remember that one guy was saying that there's travel pay there? I don't know, you might want to announce that to the guys.
We're still not clear on that.
Maybe they better not announce it, because it may not.
Exactly.
There's so much, people say one thing, but it's always something else. You know?
We need to get the information from the VA.
Yeah, no one's ever on the same page, it seems like. That's the thing. People say one thing, and then you relay what someone says, and it's something that's not even true. That's how these rumors start, and that's how everybody gets ticked off about things that aren't true. And that's what happens with a lot of the veterans is one veteran tells another veteran something that's not even true, and he goes along with the being the gospel, because veterans seem to trust each other as far as what they say, and sometimes those guys are playing games with each other. You know what I'm saying? It happens a lot with veterans. Veterans are kind of disrespectful to each other sometimes because they got problems. You know, I don't know.
Well, there's a communication issue with the VA on this particular component. We've been told that they're not doing cash travel pay, and that veteran's saying that they are.
Right.
And we don't really know for sure.
Well, I think
either way.
The thing is, in each person, I find that each person is individually different too. I find that in the system, I've had the same issue with travel pay, and they say, why? What are you doing here? You know, and why are you even here? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the thing is with the VA, they say one thing, but they question what you're doing.
Well, I think where we're at here, Steve, is that. Are you volunteering, Dean, to look into this with VA? Or
Dean kind of volunteers himself. I'm not trying to put. He wants to work on that flag, that POW flag out there that's falling apart. And he wants to work on a crosswalk out there. He's all over the map.
Yeah.
You know, the poor guy.
It's a labor of love. I know.
Yeah, Dean's a good man.
But I think one of the important purposes of this show is to get accurate information out.
Right. That's the thing. That's what. The whole key is accurate information, and the thing is that's what a lot of information sometimes is relayed is not even accurate, and that's what causes all the aggravation with everybody, because then it just makes everybody mad, and they don't even want to deal with anything anymore.
So, gentlemen, what would you offer as advice if people want to know what the actual answer is to the question of whether or not they do cash payments for travel?
Ordinarily, I'd say call the travel office, but some of this information has come out of the travel office, so I don't know.
I think you need to go directly to the director of the hospital or Vision 21 with this issue.
Probably.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to let you guys get back to your show.
Yeah. Thank you for
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome. Bringing that up. Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's part and parcel of why this show exists and why it's important, is to get accurate information out to folks. And you guys give your phone numbers out all the time, so you are a resource if anybody has a question.
Well, the fact of the matter is that we've been told by the VA that they are no longer doing cash travel pay.
Right.
But we're getting input from other veterans that they are. So, we got to find out one way or another from the very people that already told us they're not doing it.
Yeah, and I've talked directly to the travel office myself and been told there is no more cash payments.
Yeah,
So
it might have been a transition period or something. I mean, okay.
I can't answer that.
All right.
But I'm going to find out Monday because I'm going to be down there getting my travel paid.
All right, there you go. Okay. So you did volunteer.
I'll hold them up by the ankles if I have to.
I think you're just the guy to go and root out the real answer here. Okay, all right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, the Affordable Care Act, this is extremely important for veterans to understand, is that they qualify. If they're enrolled in the Veterans Health Administration, then they qualify under the Affordable Care Act, and they don't need to be looking for any other health plans.
Okay. That's a good message.
Conversely, for the veterans that are not in the Veterans Health Administration, they may want to reevaluate where they're getting their health care. Rather than enroll in a private system, they may be eminently qualified to go into the Veterans Health Administration.
Okay.
So it may be more cost-effective to do that than to enroll in a private system.
But they have to qualify. That's to get in the VA medical system.
Agreed.
So that makes it a hardship sometimes.
Because you may not qualify, but it's certainly worth looking into.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Most definitely.
All right, so back to your report.
Back to our report. Okay. On women veterans. They were given the fact that 20% of the military force are women veterans. That's a huge percentage. It used to be when Dean and I were not him, I won't count him, but when Dean and I were in, the percentage of women in the military was maybe 1%. But now it's growing steadily of women going into the military. It's a great place to go, get that experience, get trained at a position, and get the experience at that position. And, there's no better place for it.
Patriotism is not gender specific.
Yes.
Good.
So they were saying also that women are 4 times more likely to be homeless.
Yes.
I've heard that.
In my experience with a lot of women veterans is that they don't consider themselves veterans. Well, they say, I never left the country. Well, that doesn't matter. It has no bearing on anything, on any benefits that they're entitled to.
A lot of the misconceptions that I get that people come into my office is they had a general under honorable discharge, or they had a under than honorable, which is not an honorable. It is not a straight dishonorable discharge. So any veteran has served 1 day of service. There's benefits out there, and maybe not the medical side of it. Maybe there is general under honorable. There are some that allow you to get medical benefits. Now, with that, there's all kinds of educational programs. There's all kinds of the homeless veteran programs that if you have 1 day of service that you can qualify for. So the key is just asking. If you don't know, just ask.
Yes.
So 4 times more likely to be homeless, and the reason for that, you said, is they don't consider themselves veterans?
Correct. That's one of the biggest things. Also,
but basically they come out of the service and for one reason or another don't mainstream with jobs and
correct.
Other opportunities that are out there.
Exactly. That's the biggest problem.
Wow.
That's the biggest problem. Like I say, and like Chris was saying, sometimes they come out with maybe a general discharge, or I've seen women that have been molested in the military and come out and get a general discharge, which is totally wrong, and then they come out and they don't feel like they have any benefits coming, because of what they went through in the military, and they've been beat down by the military, and they come out and then don't feel that they're entitled to benefits.
That's a shame.
And that goes back to the VA breaking down the claims, the different types of claims that we're talking about, and those are the ones that take a lot longer to get fixed. But again, that's the stuff that needs to be fixed, and that's the stuff that's all over the news right now about all the traumas. And so I mean, the VA is recognizing it. Now it's just a matter of we need to make sure that when somebody does come forward, that we get them to the right place and get them now.
And get the word out that there is help there. And,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like what's his face over there was saying, Chris. Like Chris was saying, I like to give him bad time. Anyway, but like Chris was saying, don't do nothing. Come in and ask.
Yeah.
You never know until you ask. Many times, I just had a young veteran come in. He served 2 tours in Iraq, came back, had problems from PTSD, and because of the problems, they gave him an other than honorable discharge. Okay, that is not an automatic bar to benefits in the VA system. If the majority of his service, or her service even, we can show that it was honorable, the VA will accept that as honorable service, and he will be, or she will be, entitled to benefits.
And, the other side is I had a veteran with 16 years of service that got, in 14 years he re-enlisted. And in year 16 mark, 2 years later, he got another than honorable. And he was still eligible for his GI Bill because of his 14-year mark. Right. So he had an honorable discharge. He didn't have his DD-214, but he had his honorable discharge. So we were able to go back to that date.
Right.
He had no idea. He just assumed everything was lost.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so there's all kinds of little things that our offices do that we're always willing to help and we'll look into.
So the main thing is to get to you guys. And on that note, we do have a caller, and we're down to about 2 minutes. But go ahead, caller.
Okay, this is Joe Fernandez from Upper Lake. And again, I want to just thank Bob and all the guys that you have there today, how well job they do explaining everything to help the veterans. I'm a veteran from the 101st Airborne Division.
Uh-huh.
And I just think for a community like this that we are so blessed to have people like that just look out so more than 110% for the veterans. So, again, I just want to state how grateful I am, and I'm sure a lot of veterans are too, to our advisors that give us help here in Lake County.
Well,
so,
thank you. Thank you
all
very
have
much.
a blessed day, and
You're
I
very
really
kind.
And thank you for your
Bottom
service. Thank you for your service and for recognizing these great gentlemen here. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's close on a note that the Department of Defense and Veterans Affairs are going to be reevaluating a lot of their past work, because the fact of the matter is women veterans have gotten the short end of the stick for decades. And this current, what's going on in Congress now regarding military sexual trauma is just the tip of the iceberg. There were 23,000 personality disorder discharges, which were incorrect. And those are going to get reevaluated. Yeah. And there's a number of circumstances that maybe when the VA gets done with their backlog, they'll be able to readdress some of these past, frankly, discriminations.
Well, it's high time. And on that note, I will bid you all good day. Thank you for coming. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
So stay tuned for Straight Talk with the Sheriff.
KPFZ is grateful for the underwriting support of Angelina's Bakery and Espresso. Angelina's Bakery has a full espresso bar, fresh baked pastries, and a lunch menu with items made from scratch. They also offer ice cream, milkshakes, blended coffees, and Italian sodas. Open every day except Sunday. Angelina's Bakery and Espresso, 365 North Main Street in Lakeport.